Very good question too. So there's been a discussion in our community, in the OP community here, which is on purpose. And last week, every Friday morning, we have a faith-filled coffee talk where we come together and share our God winks and our breadcrumbs that we've picked up through the week. That's what our leader, Sister B, she leads the faith hours, and that's what she always asks. Does anyone have a breadcrumb or a God wink that they want to share? So I love that you were just sharing that, and I love car analogies. I don't know if you know this about me, Pamela. I love car analogies. I think it's so universal, right? Everyone's drove in a car or rode in a car and can relate to the car analogies of driving down the road and seeing those signs and knowing those things to be true. So when you're talking about there was no other place that it could have been than from God himself to give me this direction and this clarity that I didn't even ask for necessarily. I love that because we were talking about that being a God wink. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that or heard that phrase before. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That was one of the things I was like, what's the difference between a God wink and a breadcrumb? So we were just clarifying, like, that is the one thing that we could agree on was that it was the God wink is like, you, without a shadow of a doubt, it could only come from source. And the breadcrumb is like a synchronicity, the things that are coming together to really just pay attention, it's coming a little bit more clear. And then those God winks are without a shadow of a doubt. We know that came from source, and we know that it's a knowing.
I agree totally with that. I also think maybe the breadcrumb is his way of bread of life. I'm going to feed you along the way through your journey.
Oh yeah.
Just open my book and see.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. So Pamela, tell me a little bit more about what you do to support people, because I've been hearing pieces of how you help people do things for themselves, which I'm all about empowerment. Everything that I do is to empower and connect and really be a champion for other women to step out, be seen, be heard, and really get known in your industry or your world as someone that makes an impact. So tell me more about the passion that you have for what you do.
Well, sometimes it comes in pieces, but and maybe this hairstyle is not the right one, but
I think it's great on you.
Crazy today. So what I do is, where my heart is this. I've done it for so many years now, almost 30 years, but to sit down and talk to families who are experiencing hardship in the medical field. Being a certified coder, reimbursement specialist, auditor, and coder, I can look at your medical bills and I can say, no, you have to send this back for recoding. This one you can pay. This one has not paid yet. But when you get them stacked up, for example, you're a cancer patient, you're going to be stacked up.
Right.
Got so much bless your heart that you have to go through, and they get stacked up and you forget them. I mean, not you that you forget them, but you forget the order and you receive them. You don't know what. So I sit down with clients and I do that for them and their families. And then the families started going to me and saying, do I have the right, am I covered correctly? What do I need to do? Then at that point, you're really talking to families. And so I was at a point that I knew that you didn't, or you did. And I decided to become licensed in life and health. And my whole mission is no family left behind. And if I can leave you better than I found you, and if that is with a cup of coffee or a hug, I have done God's will for you. And if I can, and I don't reinvent the wheel. If if all I do is fill in your gap, then I fill in your gap with whatever policy or with whatever that need is. With the resources available now and the resources in the library that I have, I'm going to get you some help in some way. I know that sounds like I'm an island, but I'm not. And because I have a whole team of people that help me, and
Yeah.
I have resources, and my advocacy work is at a national level now, and I have people in my background that can help you with orthotics, or they can help you with DME equipment if you needed to find crutches in your town. Um,
Hmm.
uh, rural towns are more of not because I am from one. I am actually from my county seat. I do live in the center of Oklahoma, and it is a smaller town, but we have really small towns that have no medical care,
Yeah.
that have no financial coaches, that have no clue, and will feel like that they have no hope.
Mm.
And I reach out to those communities and say, hey, this is this is who I am, this is what I do, and I'm here to help. What questions do you have? Just ask me, I'm here.
I love that. Okay, so you've been in this industry for 30 years.
I have.
So how did you get into it?
I applied for a position when I was, I don't know, 20 years old at our local hospital, and I became an admissions clerk. And I don't know how long I was an admissions clerk. And then I moved that from that position to work in the specialty clinic with, then they started allowing specialty doctors, oncologist, dermatology, urologist, and things like that to come into the hospital and have appointments. From the regular physicians would utilize the new ones that were coming in for specialty, so they wouldn't have to travel.
Yeah.
Thought it was a fantastic idea. And so I got a hold, I got to experience that. And then I moved up into administration from that point. And then I started working more closely with the billing and the reimbursing and things like that, and management. And but from that point, I realized that there wasn't enough being done. There were too many cooks in the kitchen,
Right.
and there didn't really need to be, and people were getting policies confused, and people were getting not misinformation, but confusing information.
Mm.
And I said, guys, we can't be having this. And then I kind of got in trouble by administration. I don't call it trouble, but they said, let them, they basically just said, just let them do their job, and
Mhm.
you do your job. And I
Mm.
thought, well, this isn't right. This isn't right. And I knew it deep down in my gut. And so
Mm.
I put in a month's notice, and 2 months later, I was certified and all of those things. I decided to go out and do it on my own.
Mm.
And so I have been on my own. I've done the work for 30 years, but I've been on my own since 12,
Yeah.
since
I
12.
I love that. I mean, obviously, if you've been in the industry for 30 years, the experience that is layered on in the different dynamics, and that explains why, you have a library, which I love the definition of. You have a library of resources and connections and a team of people that you trust that support your clientele and the people that you give support to, because you've built up over years of experience to be able to support and give guidance that
Yeah,
gives more clarity for people that are already in chaos and stress and overwhelm and all of those extra things that um I love that you're doing that work, because it gives people hope. I don't know if you said that word, something about hope, but it really is about giving people an opportunity to move past those challenges that gave them all of those bills stacking up, and have a fighting chance at living life and feeling taken care of more.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
very
Yeah.
good work. So you and I met. Actually, we met. I believe that I was on at least one or two virtual meetings for the Gloss Loft, where I had been in the same room with you. And I didn't realize that until, I don't know, probably day two, when I heard you talking about your business and your passion was coming through, I was like, oh, I recognize that passion literally from being on a Zoom call. Because I'm so grateful for virtual, being able to connect from all over the world,
Love
um,
it.
all different times of day, and be flexible in that way with my family dynamic. And but I'm first and foremost the in-person person. I always talk about, and you mentioned hugs. So I love that you mentioned, if I could hug someone, and that I'm a heart hugger. I'm all about getting in person with people as much as possible. So I
Right.
love that I did get to meet you on Zoom, and then we got to be in person in the Berkshires of Massachusetts together for a couple of
Wonderful time.
days. It was a wonderful time. And I'm so grateful that we got the opportunity to have that in-person time connection and grow together. And I would love to know what's something that you took away from that experience. And do you do retreats a lot? Was this like a first time thing for you? Tell me more about that.
It was the first time for me. What I took away from that, well, was, um, there's power in numbers.
Mm,
There wasn't anybody in that room that I couldn't refer someone to, and that I couldn't put in my knapsack in my library. There isn't anyone that I couldn't or wouldn't. I would, heartbeat, send them to one of those women, which inspired me. But not till I got home.
mm,
Because it was also overwhelming and also beautiful and everything. And we were having such a good time. And then I was reflecting back, and then it went, the light bulb went on again. And I thought, you know what? And it was because on that day, on the day that it hit me, when we returned, I had a lady say to me, my husband takes care of everything. There's
mm,
nothing that I need to learn. That frightened me for her in a way that almost made my tummy hurt. And I thought, um, but what if? What
mm-hmm,
if something happened and you need to know these things? And so what if they left the home? He passed unexpectedly out of the blue, had a heart attack, and then he left homestead exemption papers on his desk, and you don't know where they go.
mm-hmm,
But you knew he had filled them out and they have to go somewhere. So I have decided, and my first one is May 21st, that I'm going to have a small group of women
mm,
and into my office. We're going to have a light dinner and some lemonade and things like that. And we're going to talk about what we do, who we are, and the things that are important to us. And we're going to learn from on that meeting. We're going to learn from the county assessor
mm,
who handles homestead exemption, who was going to come in and tell us her role and the role of what that office does for our county.
mm-hmm,
It's important that we know these things. At least, I mean, maybe not on the state level, but at least where we live. We need to know what's available where we live, and the expertise of the people that are there. They're elected officials.
mm,
So they have experienced things that if you've not been through a campaign, don't know.
right.
And tell us why you wanted to go through this. Tell us why that county assessor's office appealed to you, and what do you do to help me?
Mm.
And so I have a series of 6 throughout the summer, once a month for 2 hours a evening, once a month, to address and introduce to women these county offices.
Oh, I
So
love it.
yeah, I mean
You're stepping
that's
into
what.
being that connector, really being that connector and giving people that opportunity to hear what they do. And I love that you said so that they can share what they can do for them, right? Like they have to share what is it that you do that can support me when I need that.
Right, right, absolutely. Absolutely. We have to. And it bothers, scares me to death that women don't know.
Right. Or think that
Because
they
we're
don't
so
need
busy.
to,
Right.
right? That we
Right.
think that someone
Right.
else is going to save us. That's a big thing that I've learned over the last few years of my entrepreneur journey is, I hear the story over and over. Like I finally got to a point where I needed to realize no one's coming to save me, and that we have the opportunity to learn and grow for ourselves versus feeling like someone else is going to do it, a significant other or partner of some kind, or, we have to be advocating for ourselves and
Mhm.
get to a place that we're empowered enough to ask the questions so that we are more prepared.
Absolutely. And I have one son and one grandson, and the rest are women in my house. And I have to leave them better than I found them to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just making sure that they have clothes on their back, or they have, when I had I was when I was divorced from their father. My whole mission was to make sure that they were raised healthy spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially as well.
Yeah.
And so, I did that, but then I failed. Not, I don't think I failed miserably, but they don't know these things either. And I do. And why didn't I share that with them? And so there's people that are girls that are going to college or just coming out of college who need this information as well. It's a different game when you're talking to young women. But those county offices are still there. You still have to use them,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to discuss these kind of things more. We
Yeah.
need to talk about the what ifs. He might not be here, or maybe she was the one who handled it all. And I need to have a men's session, bring my husband in and say, hey, this is why, this is what we do. This is what this is for, and whatever. And um, but yeah, I just want to leave them better
Yeah.
than
I love
they're
that.
not.
And my whole thing is, I believe that we're stronger together. That's one of the things that we embody in the OP community, is stronger together is one of our culture codes that we live by. And that
I like that.
understanding that, yeah, the understanding that, yes, we need to teach women, and yes, we need to teach men. And when we're together, we are stronger. When we have both dynamics, when people are asking their questions, when they're all feeling that they can be independent, but when we're together, we're stronger in all of those things. So I
Right.
love that you say, the realization as a mom, especially, I have my daughter is the oldest in our family, and then we have two boys that are younger. And it is definitely always on my mind that stronger families in general, just stronger families. And so I appreciate you sharing that real piece of, your journey, just knowing like, oh, I wanted to have this, and I think there was a missing piece, and we can do as much as we can do at that time, right? So you did
Right.
what you needed to do during the time of raising your children at that point, that it wasn't the time for them to learn that, and trusting that, right? Big
Right.
part of the journey.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly right. And so, but now it is time, and they'll both be there learning
Yay.
something, learning something. And I am excited that they asked to come.
Mm,
And so I've not handpicked anybody. I've just invited all the women that I know, that
yeah.
entrepreneurs that are at home, but yet are busy.
Yeah.
And let's get together for a couple of hours. Yeah, she's going to tell us things that I don't know either.
Yeah. What a
I'm
great
excited to learn that.
opportunity. Yeah, a
Yep.
great opportunity to learn together and
Mhm.
be and gather and gather.
Yes, gather.
That's
That's
awesome.
important. To
Yeah.
lift us up, to empower, to encourage, to
Yeah.
to celebrate each other.
Yeah. I love that. And that's exactly what the Berkshires was, right? Getting
Totally.
an event together with an intimate setting of women to have time to get to know each other over a couple days and nights, and really get to have that, growth in a container that was safe and authentic. Was really fun.
It was
Yeah.
totally fun.
I love that
Loved it.
that's something that you're incorporating, though, like pulling that back into your sphere of like, yeah, let's get together. Let's bring those resources and the people in the room, because there's so much that we can do for one another. that you're bringing that to your town, your place, and the space that you're taking up in your industry. And I love that. That's a great resource.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I hope that it is helpful for someone. I really do.
I love it. So, okay, so you mentioned national, your business is national. So, when you're helping people with resources and coaching or the people that you have on your team, so I'm in Wisconsin.
Mhm.
How would you be able to support people in different states? Is that really easy to do? Is there a process to do? So, anyone that's listening, right, if they are like, oh, I could use someone to talk to about this, do you do consults with anyone from anywhere or tell a little bit about that?
I do. I can advocate on Zoom anywhere in the United States. And I'm licensed in 19 states. And
Okay.
so if you weren't in a state that I was licensed at, that's just a 24-hour process
Oh,
to get a non-resident license. And so that's absolutely no problem at all.
very
No
cool.
problem at all to
That's
do that.
great to know. Um, Love that. Okay, cool. So where we'll just put this in here right now. Where would be a great place to connect with you, Pamela?
You can connect with me. My website is still being polished and it's not published yet. And but you can connect with me on my Facebook page, Pamela's Hobbs. Licensed. You can find me there, and it says licensed health, life and health. And then or yeah, and just DM me there, or you can email me at medstarinsurance405@gmail.com.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to link
Yeah.
those so there's easy access for that too.
Okay.
So what would you say your favorite part of the retreat was?
Um, my favorite part of the retreat
Mhm.
was oh gosh, I everything. I woke up happy and anxious to get started in the day. Connections is just so important to me. And I enjoyed meeting people I had only seen on Zoom, like you. I mean, and you took those beautiful headshots and we were, it was just, it was a magical time. It was a magical time. And I told someone, I said, I hope this is where we come back next year and, or someplace equally as fun, but it was fun and it was organized and it was, I don't know. I just loved it all. Being with what 19 other women, connecting, learning what they do, laughing with them over, stupid kid stuff, stupid husband stuff, those kind of things that we all do. We all do. We laugh at the things our kids and husbands do. We do that. And it was nice. I remember thinking that this isn't college fun. This is better.
Mm,
This is better than being, not, you have that in college to a point, but now we're older and we have children and we're connecting and we're moving and our brains are full of so much knowledge and to be able to share. And even so many people pivoted with some of the information that was shared in the big group setting, and you could see it click and they immediate pivot and it's been perfect ever since for them, and maybe not perfect but almost perfect. And I loved it. I can say everything.
yeah.
I can say everything.
I love that you mentioned we had that at some point in our life, we've had something similar, but it's different. And I love that really what I heard you say is that we've all grown and evolved since maybe we've had something like that before. And I'm a firm believer that we grow and evolve every single day is a new day. And I'm renewed from what the mom that I was yesterday, the entrepreneur that I was yesterday, the woman that I was yesterday by the experience that I had yesterday, and coming to this day with a clean slate and knowing that, I can choose the way that I want the day to go today because it's all mindset that we get to start, from there. And so I love that you mentioned that we've had something maybe in the past like that, but that it's different when you are surrounding yourself with growth-minded women, and people that can relate. That's what I heard too, is that there was a relatability. We all either had a significant other, had children, or people that, at home rely on us or support us in a way that we can come together and be in that container of support to encourage one another, to know that we are far from alone in the stress or the overwhelm that we experience, in the regular atmosphere that we're in at home or work.
That's right. I agree. But the other thing, that I think that resonated with me and has stuck with me is the respect that each of us had for each
Mm,
other in our different industries that we're in, and the value that that brings to the table through respect. And you have maybe you had two or three realtors there. Maybe
mhm.
there were a couple of financial coaches there, but nobody tried to take business from other people. They built each other up and shared experiences. And I found that to be refreshingly rewarding. And in so many cutthroat businesses.
Mm.
That's true story. And some of them are oversaturated. But to find that mutual respect and uplifting of one another, that really is what I took home.
Yeah. I love that you point that out too, because um that's the only kind of company that I keep is the energy of um collaboration, and understanding that when we are in the same industry as someone, that's an opportunity for you to be stronger together. Exactly what we talked about in the male female dynamic, but also in our industries when we have those other people that maybe it isn't the same exact business, but it's in the industry, and there is collaboration to help support the whole industry. When you
Right.
are collaborating instead of looking at each other like your competition or that you're better than them, but you can be stronger when you come together and bring those ideas to the table, bring your experience and your insights and the resources that you have, um, when it aligns, right? And when they're also in an energy of, you know, positive or uplifting other people, that energy exchange matches, and you can go so much further when you align like that. Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ideas, this was tried, it worked for me, might not work for you, but it's here for you to use if you'd like.
Yeah, that's a big piece too. I love that you point that out, because if you'd like that, just that last part, because it isn't, oh, you should go and do this. I'm a big proponent of wiping the shit off people's faces, and instead of blaming or, shaming people for not doing something the way that we would do it, giving them the opportunity to choose if it's right for them in their business and the way that they want to run things. Because even if you do the same thing, their strategy is different. There's unique
Absolutely. Right.
approach to
Mhm.
how people want to do things.
Absolutely. And words are something that we really need to consider too. And the way we say things, and the words that we choose appropriately, and our tone in
Mm,
which we use those words are very, very important, with not just our family, but with people we meet on the street.
yeah, everyone, and with ourselves. I'm a big
And
proponent
with
of,
ourselves,
and with
absolutely.
it starts with us, right? The way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we think about the person that we are, and the way that we are going to approach our day. That's again why I'm someone that talks about a new day, because we can weighing on the facts of yesterday's, challenges, or we can look at today as a new opportunity to approach it in a totally different way.
That's right. Those challenges didn't work for today.
Yeah.
Let's was remove them.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Pamela, this has been so fun to get to
It
hear
has
more
been.
about your passion, the way that you can support people. I'm excited to share you with more people and to just continue our collaboration and our connection in support. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for taking time to be with me today on the podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
so
fun.
great.
Good to see you.
It was great to get to see you again. So thank you for listening to the Choose on Purpose podcast. I'm Becky Ploutz, your host. We were listening with Pamela Hobbs, and her information will be linked below. Be sure to subscribe and reach out and connect.